are still working on the rental house over on the Oregon coast, and we have a tree which was just a cute little tree when I started building the house, but now it's grown up into being a monster, and it's causing all sorts of problems. It's growing around the power line, and so we and also it's growing over in limbs or going on the house and rubbing on the shingles and all sorts of other things. The roots will probably be pushing the foundation up pretty soon. This is a Sitka spruce tree that we're going to take out, and they grow extremely fast on the Oregon coast. But they are one that some lumber is made out of it. It's not a real popular one, but during World War II they had a government agency called the Spruce Board that that located spruce trees to be logged, and then the lumber was used for the framework of airplanes, which they needed a lot of during the war. And it's a real strong, lightweight wood when it's dry. It's pretty heavy when it's wet, but it's suited well for airplanes and boats and a lot of other things where you're keeping it dry, but it won't stand moisture. The person from the power company that came to put the power line down so we don't tear it down when the tree falls is their arborist, and so he's going to disconnect the line and get it ready so we can get that tree out of there. Fall that tree right over where it stands. He's carefully wrapping the ends of the power line, and then it'll be down and we'll be able to cut our tree down. The tension is running high now, and I have to admit I have a little butterfly in my stomach since the tree's so close to the house. So much could go wrong. Matt is a real good tree faller and very experienced at it, so I have confidence that he'll get it done right as he puts his safety gear on, fires up the chainsaw, and is ready to go. Matt puts on his gloves and earplugs and hard hat and safety equipment, and so he's going to start the saw, and that tree will be history in just a short time. He clears some of the little branches away that are on the ground in the way so no one will trip on it, looks the tree over real good, and then it's time to start cutting the notch. If anyone's nervous, it's past the point of no return. The chips fly as this powerful, sharp chainsaw starts eating away at this large spruce tree. It's very important that he looks at the tree and sees where the leans are and everything on it, and then get that notch just exactly right, because one little mistake and it could be down on the house and all of our work would be down the drain. He cuts it in at just exactly the right angle with much careful measurement and looking at it. Then he finishes cutting the notch out, and this notch has to be cut out just about so. If there's a little piece left in it, they call that a Dutchman, and that can throw the tree off where it won't fall good. So he cuts it out very carefully, which isn't an easy job, but years of experience have taught him how to do this. And then he cleans the notch up. If there's just a little piece in there, that can throw the tree off where it won't fall where it's intended. And if it falls the wrong direction, it could hit our house or Another thing it could do is hit the power pole that's standing there or another tree and be a problem. So it's got to go just about exactly right. This went really quick as he finishes cleaning the notch out so that tree will fall and fall right. When the notch is to his satisfaction, then it's time to go around behind the tree and start cutting the final cut on the tree that'll bring this big spruce down. Then he looks it over real good and starts the cut on the back side, which will bring that tree to the ground in next to no time. It's amazing how quick he was able to fall this big tree. Everyone has their fingers crossed and is waiting for the tree to go down, and it starts wiggling almost instantly, so it'll be down in the blink of a cat's eye. And there it goes. And the tree fell just perfectly. Now that the tree is down, there's still a big job to do, and that's to cut it up so the power company can get up here and turn our power back on. I'll cut as big a log out of it as I possibly can to saw up into boards. And those boards, I have a trim maker, so I want to make a bunch of trim out of them. We look at the butt and it's almost perfect. Where you see that jaggedy looking stuff, that's what they call the hem. The powerful chainsaw rips right through this big log, bringing it to the ground in almost no time. This tree grew a great big branch off from it, which it's resting on there, and so the log of its upside is up in the air. So you have to be, Matt's being really careful that thing doesn't come down and hit him. And there it goes, and then the thing starts rolling, and we were all holding our breath thinking it might roll on down the hill and hit the house below, but it stopped in a while. Now it's time to cut off some of this big branch and stuff, and this big branch and that sort of thing, it's all crooked and nasty looking, so it won't make good logs, so it'll be used for firewood. None of this tree will be going to waste. Another thing this spruce that spruce are famous for, they make good soundboards for pianos and guitar, and they make good guitars and other musical instruments because of the sound that they produce. So they're a very, very nice tree. Matt'll cut these limbs up somewhat so we can use them for firewood, and they aren't the greatest for firewood because they burn so hot and so fast that if you have some other wood to mix with them, they're really good, and particularly if you want to get your house real hot in a hurry, spruce is good, and particularly where the big knots are, there's lots of pitch in them, and they make really, really good hot fire. It'll take only a little while with these big, powerful chainsaws to cut the rest up for firewood and get it out of the way. And the power company was going to give us an hour to do this, and so it's about time for him to come back and hook the power up. I couldn't believe that we could do that big job in less than an hour, but we did. The ground where the tree fell is almost totally covered with the little spruce cones. I'll bet those squirrels are happy they don't have to climb the tree to get their spruce cones, which they like to set and shuck 'em out and eat the seeds out of. We'll cut up the brush and pile it in a pile here on the property, and the squirrels will be responsible for their own cones. The neighbors stopped by to help with the cleanup. Thanks a lot. We certainly need that. And so we'll go ahead and buzz up these limbs and get them out of the way. These boughs on the spruce are kind of prickly, not soft like fir. The neighbor will bring his little Kubota tractor over to help push the brush up into a pile. Spruce wood is sometimes ideal for making plywood too, because it's so lightweight. Furniture makers like to get their hands on spruce wood too, because it's real strong and makes very good, strong, lightweight furniture, and it's a real pretty light color. So that's why I'm going to use some of it for trim. I like the light colored stuff. That's so tough.
Being difficult?
Yeah.
You can get it started?
Probably not.
Look at the tree limbs.
My chainsaw is acting up a little bit on me, but I'll just keep working on it, and I'm sure the darn thing will start sooner or later. The neighbor's really saving us a lot of work with his little tractor. He can push that brush up in a pile in next to no time and take a lot more than we can take by hand. And it's a ways down to where the brush pile is.
Oh, there he's pulling it down.
Every bit of this wood will be used. Some that's too crooked and knotty for lumber will be used for firewood.
That's the top of the tree. It's getting it pulled down there.